People are very comfortable being rude and obnoxious. In fact, what a lot of people won't admit is that they're as comfortable as they are because they've practiced it. They've actually rehearsed it. They've spent time talking crazy to pretend people when they're home alone. They've had full-scale arguments with the people in their heads. They've thought of the things that have been said to them that bothered them or hurt their feelings. They've thought of other things that could or would bother them if someone were to say it in the future. And they've thought of a witty or snide or disrespectful or demeaning replies. So if, and for a lot of them, they're actually praying for the when, but if it happens in the future, they've got an arsenal of fire ready to tear someone to shreds. My question for you today, who's practicing kindness? Passionate. Let me tell you something. So what is this Passion PSA podcast? Who am I? Well, they call me Passion, short for passion, no last necessary. Why is there no last name necessary? Because the first name says it all. I am passion and all that embodies. What do I do here? I give you the life coaching that you know you need, but don't enroll yourself in. When did I start? Actually, 2017. I'd leave a PSA on my Instagram regarding something I'd observed, and now we've evolved to this. Why do I do it? Why not? If even one person is able to take away one thing that changes their life, someone else's life, or changes the world for the better, then I've done what I was charged to do. So come on in, sit and listen for a while. There's something here for everyone at the Passion PSA podcast. Greetings and salutations, my beloved passionates, newcomers, visitors, and guests. Welcome to another episode of the Passion PSA podcast, where I, Passion No Last Necessary, your Get You Right Guru, issue a weekly public service announcement about whatever I've observed or was on my mind. This is a for your consideration zone where the objective is to offer you a perspective you may not have previously considered to A, expand your thinking, and B, aid you in becoming a better version of yourself, and for others. This is a safe space, but not necessarily a delicate one. I will never rob you of your right to feel how you feel. Same way I will not sugarcoat the truth to make it more palatable. The goal is to get you to higher, more expanded thinking. If you are new here, affirmations are our first order of business so that we can intentionally raise the vibration and start on one accord. Today, we're going to do things just a little bit differently. Usually before we get into the episode, we do affirmations, and the affirmations are kind of like a precursor or a preface to the subject matter that we're going to discuss. Today, we're just going to say 4 simple affirmations. This one's really more for me than it is for you. You are always more than welcome to repeat after me or to use this time to state your own affirmations. Simply put, I am well. It is well. All is well. Well is all. I am well. It is well. All is well. Well is all. Ashe, ashe, ashe. So passion is for most of my working life. I've had positions where I've had to work with people, right? Either disseminating information to them or doing some type of customer service. When I worked in the garage department, there wasn't a lot that I had to do with people who had their access passes. Like, unless they needed information or had to make a temporary change, the main thing I had to do was acknowledge them. Now, we had meetings in our department where they would tell us that people are complaining about us reading the paper or reading books or being on our phones. They were bothered because they didn't feel like we were paying attention or acknowledging them. And a lot of those same people would actively ignore us when they were driving into the garage. Like, you could see some of them doing their best to look straight ahead like they didn't see us waving at them. Neck stiff, and they sitting there still as a statue waiting for the gate to go up so they could drive off. On the way out, though, you could stare them down. You could have your window open and their window could be open, and you could wave and speak. And they would still pretend to be deaf and blind. But if they thought for a second that you were sleeping or not paying attention, they would damn near crash driving out the garage because they were breaking their necks to look back at you. When I worked in retail, I had a lot of experiences where the energy was, why are you over here? When I approached people to ask if they needed help or even just to greet them, these are the same people who complain that no one acknowledged them when they came in or no one offered to help them. And I found that interesting. When you don't give people what they want, they complain about it. When you give people what they ask for, they complain about it. The position I work in now, I get calls all day where people call with some of the nastiest dispositions. And of course, that's not every caller, right? I get some who legitimately don't know who they should speak to and they're trying to get help. I get some who are nervous Nelly types and they're just frazzled. I get some who call with purpose, say what they need to say, and clear the line. Those are the champions. But on the not so winning side, I get whiners, I get bullies. Now, y'all are here with me weekly, so you know my personality. I'm direct. And a lot of people simply cannot handle directness. A lot of people think customer service lines are therapy and counseling hotlines. They tell detailed stories of irrelevant information. They repeat the same thing over and over, and they have an expectation of how the rep is not only going to receive their story time, but how they're going to respond to it. And false. If the job is within the purview of what we can do, I will ensure someone responds to do it. If what's being requested can be done, but additional needs are in place in order for your issue to be addressed, like additional input or activity from the caller, I'll still ensure someone responds, but I cannot guarantee you're going to get the results that you want. If another entity or another agency has to be enlisted, that's the step that'll be taken next. While I can empathize with your concerns or displeasure, I simply cannot allot extended periods of time for coddling. Now, people's fragile egos call that rudeness when they want to tell you about how distressed they are about what's taking place. While it is very unfortunate that you're experiencing this situation, the most I can do is have someone come out and see if they can help you. I cannot spend 10 minutes on the phone keeping you company, being your sounding board. And again, those callers, they have whatever impact they have. It's the ones that call trying to give you all the rhythm and all the smoke. The, you better, and if you don't, y'all need to do your jobs. Those callers inspired today's episode. Because we've talked previously about the lady in the garage, right? That was 1,000% out of line coming at me sideways because she was mad at the situation and told me outright, yeah, but I need somebody to take it out on. People are very comfortable being rude and obnoxious. In fact, what a lot of people won't admit is that they're as comfortable as they are because they've practiced it. They've actually rehearsed it. They've spent time talking crazy to pretend people when they're home alone. They've had full-scale arguments with the people in their heads. They've thought of the things that have been said to them that bothered them or hurt their feelings. They've thought of other things that could or would bother them if someone were to say it in the future. And they've thought of a witty or snide or disrespectful or demeaning reply. So if, and for a lot of them, they're actually praying for the when, but if it happens in the future, they've got an arsenal of fire ready to tear someone to shreds. My question for you today, who's practicing kindness? Who is rehearsing pleasantry? Everybody is so consumed with not being a clown, not being the butt of the joke, not being the herb, not being the victim. And I get that, right? Because I'm not letting people talk to me sideways, like at all. But who is actively working on responding pleasantly? And I ask this because a lot of people have this very incorrect notion that people in customer service positions get paid to tolerate disrespect. Y'all ain't gonna learn until all we have are those stupid automated systems answering the calls, and there are no people to get through to. Y'all ain't gonna learn until there is no representative. I mean, well, Pastor, it comes with the job. Actually, it doesn't. Like, how do you call somewhere for help? And when the person asks you questions so they can get you the help you need, you talk down to them like they're incompetent. If I asked you A and you have yet to answer A, am I really stupid because I'm still waiting for an answer for A? And if yes, if I'm stupid for waiting for this answer because I need the information, aren't you as or more stupid because you have yet to answer the question, but you are the one with the need to be helped? People say things like, oh, so your job, when you're doing your job, because doing your job according to protocol means they're not getting their way. So then is it that you want me to do my job or you just want me to do what you want because you said so? Because it don't work that way. So as the customer, you're the nightmare no one can wake up from. But as the service provider, you want to be the alarm and the hard shake that startles someone out of a deep sleep because ain't nobody going to talk to you crazy. Why do you practice and rehearse being nasty to others, but expect them to be kind and respectful to you? Why are you so eager to be the one inflicting displeasure or disrespect? Why are you coming with all this rhythm if you're not really prepared to dance? Why do you believe in karma when other people get a taste of their own medicine, but you think you exception to this universal law? So many people are actively, adamantly, and vehemently opposed to counseling and therapy for themselves. They want everyone else to go, but feel like they don't need to. So, okay, don't go to therapy. Don't talk to the life coach. Fine. But when do you look at you honestly and not only say, I'm out of pocket, I need to do better, but actually take the steps to self-correct? I had a caller call, and it was like you could hear the choreography through the phone. Now, we all know that I'm very animated, right? I talk with my hands and my head and my neck and my face. I'm very aware of this. I'm also aware that if I'm calling for a follow-up on something, at minimum, I should be giving basic information like, I don't know, my name, my location, some specifics to the person receiving the call so they can look up the initial call or job or like anything that would be able to present as a reference. Instead, it was, I'm calling to follow up about my situation because y'all need to be doing something and y'all ain't doing nothing. Who are you? You're calling to follow up about what? And how do you come out the gate swinging like that when I have no idea what's going on? Well, Passion, maybe they were just frustrated. Nah, no one's giving you a pass on that because even at my most irate, I have a name. Also, if you're going to call with that type of energy, you should be at the pinnacle of presentation. My name is X. I previously called about Y. I'm following up about Z. I've allowed long to pass and have been given no updates. I spoke to A, B, and C and was advised to speak to D last time I called. Have your information in order or wait for the person to ask questions they need in order to give you the information you need. Stop calling places with social media booger energy like somebody's supposed to be afraid of you. Stop talking to people like they're not people. Stop antagonizing people the moment they answer the phone. You're not going to get more favorable results by attacking the first person you speak to. You don't want somebody challenging your intelligence even when you sound stupid. So why would you talk to somebody like they are stupid when one, they don't deserve it, and two, you don't tolerate it even when you do deserve it? Why are we rehearsing rudeness? Passion, that's the world we live in. False. That's the world we've created and continue to perpetuate. People rude to me, so I'm gonna be rude right back. I thought when you became an adult, you put away childish things. People do it to me, so I'm going to do it too, is the mentality of a child. People do ridiculous things, but I'm not going to meet them where they are. I'm going to require them to meet me at my level, is the mentality of the evolved. Nah, Passion, you can't always be nice and sweet. I'm not saying you always have to be sweet. I am saying you don't always have to be nasty. I got a call where the caller was fuming before I answered. So by the time I engaged, they were on go. I needed to do this and I needed to do that because they were tired of this and sick of that and on and on. So I sat there and let them rage. And after a while, they stopped talking, but not because they were finished ranting, because I wasn't saying anything. And they want to know why. Well, you haven't told me the address for all the things that this person rattled off to me. The location where I should send someone was nowhere in that. And their response? Well, you didn't ask me, so how was I supposed to know? Ain't no way they thought that was a good answer. Ain't no way. But a rude retort beats humility any day, right? I'm saying, Passion, it's possible to be so upset you can't think straight. Like, that happens to everybody. That is possible. You know what else is possible? Since you know that happens? Practicing responding more calmly, more respectfully, and thinking before you speak. Everything doesn't have to be a volatile reaction. Well, in the hood, there's a whole lot of people talking about what's happening in a hood they're not in. Like, you grew up in the hood and survived it, phenomenal. You're in the burbs now. What's your excuse? Nobody's perfect and everybody has a moment. Nobody's perfect, but way too many bodies are finding all the reasons to remain problematic. There are plenty of people who've had a rough day, a rough season, or a rough life, and they find a way to be a ray of sunshine all the time. Do you have to be a sunbeam? No, not all the time. But the question is, why is it a priority for you to be a storm cloud? And if it's okay for you to be nasty at will? And when you are, your rough day deserves compassion, grace, and empathy. Why doesn't this person get to be a hurricane in your path? Why are you expecting what you're not willing to give? Whether you're on the phone, in an online chat, or walking down the street, why is it that we know conducting ourselves like we have chips on our shoulders can set the standard, but we don't know the converse is also true? Have you honestly ever tried meeting someone's disrespect with different energy? A whole lot of people would say yes, and a whole lot of people would be lying. Nah, Passion, because sometimes, like, you got to be taught a lesson. You are absolutely right. So who's supposed to teach the class in kindness? Who's supposed to lead that charge? If all everybody knows for certain is that they expect respect, expect to be spoken to politely, and they expect to be handled the way they want to be, who is supposed to be the person to demonstrate this if not you? Like, when do we stop using buzzwords and catchphrases and get down to brass tacks? Teach people how you want to be treated. You want to be treated with kindness and respect, not threats of violence. Yes? So if that's not what I'm being shown by you, how can I return that to you? Better question, why do you expect that from me? You deserve it and I don't? We both deserve it, right? So why aren't we both modeling it? And Passion is, we're in this together. My mouth can be extremely reckless, but I'm also willing to take accountability. I don't lead with disrespect and rudeness, but I am aware of myself when I'm talking crazy. Could I do even better than I do? Clearly, yes, if I started the episode saying people are misconstruing my directness for rudeness. And let's clarify, being direct is really an emotionless delivery of information. There are no feelings involved. You stated you're having this issue. You have these needs, and this is what I can do to offer you a resolution or attempt to assist you with some type of reprieve. This is the information I've documented per what you disclosed. Do I have this information correct? These are the next steps I'll take. Not rude, just not emotionally vested. Point is, while in most cases, especially at work, it's absolutely me being direct, there are times when lower self be like, let me handle this call, sis, because I'm not sure who they thought they were talking to, but I got time today. And higher self be like, oh, okay, do your thing. So I challenge you, Passionate, same way I challenge myself. Instead of working on how to match their negative energy, model how to be better. If they're talking to you crazy and it's a professional setting, you have to maintain your professionalism or your job may be jeopardized, right? Okay. Obviously, people are going to take advantage of that much like they do at my job. Even in those instances, you can still professionally state that you understand they're frustrated, but request that they not use certain language. Depending on the environment, you can even ask them not to yell at you. Now, will some of them be incensed that you dare to expect, encourage, or elicit a better response from them? Most assuredly. Could that potentially cause them to escalate? That's a trick question. The answer they would give would be yes, but the correct answer would be no. Why? Because you asking them to conduct themselves better isn't at all problematic, especially if they're cursing or yelling while speaking to you. Their lack of self-control or inability to speak to a party who is not the source of their grievance without attacking them as though they are is extremely problematic. In the street, when people get beside themselves and start turning up and being disrespectful for no reason, again, you don't have to be an energy match. Silence doesn't always feel good, right? Because you don't want anyone to think that you're a punk, and sometimes you really just want to teach them a lesson, right? But same time, silence allows them to leap to their own conclusions, be delusional about how they shut you down, all while you walk away catching no charges with no injuries and pitying them for being unable to conduct themselves better. Passion, I hear you. I agree with you on like 90% of your episodes, and I've even done the self-work after watching several, but you're bugging, sis. They come at me sideways, and I'ma get them straight. Quick. You have that right. Today's episode wasn't intended to give you instructions on how to do it. Today was to make you think about what you do and ask yourself if you're doing your best. If you expect to receive better than what you're giving, you're not doing your best. If you feel entitled to abuse people because someone or many ones have spoken to you or treated you in an abusive manner, you are not doing your best. If you give yourself a pass for behavior you think everyone else should be held accountable for, you are not doing your best. If you're blaming other people for your responses, you're not doing your best. Those are your feelings. And if no one has control over you, how could they possibly control your emotions? Unless you are the sole owner or the sole operator at a business, disengagement is always an option. And there are multiple ways to disengage. The power is yours, beloved. What you do with it is entirely up to you. That's all we're going to talk about this week. Next week, we're going to follow up on this. We're going to spend a little bit more time talking along the same lines, but the perspective will be different, and it will definitely save your life, okay? That is your clue right there. If you got some value from this week's episode, please feel free to drop me some megaphones or leave a comment in the comment section. Donations can be made via Linktree, PayPal, Podbean, or Zelle. Links are in the description box. Listener letters can be sent to greetings@whatonewomandoes.com. Your Get You Right Guru is signing off. Y'all go forth, be great, be filled with bliss, be armed and empowered with knowledge. Lauryn Hill said it best. Don't be a hard rock when you really are a gem. Think about that. In all things, be passionate. See you later.